Hello, this is Dymock-Johnson with a brief ramble on flaws in Dungeons & Dragons. Finally, after 3 decades, Dungeons & Dragons recognise that maybe PCs should all come with a flaw. Something that holds them back, that makes life more difficult for them. And there are good flaws and there are bad flaws. A good flaw is something which you can present to make your character, and it will make your character memorable. It will make your character interesting, and it will sometimes throw a complication into the game, into the process. A bad flaw derails the game, makes it run to a screeching halt, and becomes all about your flaw and the disaster that you have engendered. So there's a subtle line. When does your flaw go from being an interesting quirk that causes some problems to an insurmountable disaster that derails the game? So we can look at a few case studies. Greed. Greed is a common flaw. Greed is a common flaw in adventurers. If your character is greedy, they should show off that greed, because in ways more than just your typical murder hobo PC. Maybe you offer to carry all the money because you're greedy. You want it all. And when it comes to divide treasure, you're the one who counts it out. And you count it out slowly and carefully and methodically, because you want to make sure that you don't get cheated. You don't get cheated by counting it out. And then you give it to everyone. You can be a bit grudging. Here's your share. Here's yours. I guess you did things as well. I guess you get some. You're not disrupting the game. You're continuing the flow. You've actually shared out the treasure. Everything is proceeding in an amicable way around the table. But hopefully the party, the other players, have got the idea that your character is greedy. They would rather keep all the money for themselves. You can play greed badly. You can steal from the party. This is a constant source of fights and arguments out of game. It leads to acrimony, it leads to arguments. It's just don't do it. Don't steal from the party. Don't attack other party members. Just don't. Only do it if you can arrange it beforehand. Or find out if they're okay with it. Some people are, but some people are not. So don't steal from the party. It's never ever ends well. And that's how you can make greed bad. It just derails the game. It stops. You might defend it by saying, well, I was playing in character. No, you were still playing badly. You did it badly. You could present it in a good way, a useful way. But you didn't. You did it in a way that disrupted the game. Other ways you can be greedy. You can maybe want things. When the thing asks money, you can demand more money. Party members can always say, can we get paid more for this? Or, I don't think we get... and when you're on a bench, you can say, we're not getting paid enough for this. These are all good expressions of greed. Now, other common flaws. Lust. Your character is turned by a pretty face. Or a handsome face, or whatever. Bad role-playing of this, you'll come off as what they call a creeper. You'll creep people out. So don't be creepy. Don't be bizarre. Find out if you want to play someone whose flaw is lust, find out what everyone else's acceptance levels of that is. So, and find out, so if you want your character to constantly call one of the other characters babe or hot stuff or hey, you're cute, find out if that player is, find out if the other players are comfy with that, because otherwise you'll come off as creepy and weird. But if they don't, then put that in. It's just sprinkle benedictions and pet names for the whatever object of affection your character has in the game. And also do things for them. Trust them implicitly, because you are in love with them. You will do things for them. You'll do anything to show your affection for them. And so maybe you get in trouble because they've asked you to do something. And this is not disrupting the game. This is actually helping them play a character. They actually get to put something over you. So, and as long as they don't cause the game to grind to a halt by asking you to be totally suicidal, then it's fine. Other things, but lust can definitely creep people out. If it creeps people out, then they're not comfortable and they won't enjoy playing the game. Don't do anything that makes people uncomfortable playing the game. But if you can find out what people's comfort levels are, and play under that. If you say, well, I think that person's believable. Yes. You only believe that person because they look good. They look like Brad Pitt. Yeah, but they're still trustworthy. That's a good use of lust. Your character is still lustful. You've still got it across to the rest of the party, but you're not disrupting the game. You're not creeping people out. Other flaws. Bigotry. You don't like someone. Or you don't like their religion. You don't like what they do for a living. Or you don't like their species, especially in a fantasy game. You just pick some species other than yourselves and just find out a reason why you don't like them. You don't like dwarves. They're short. They're stunted. They're ugly. And they've got beards. All of them have beards. And the reason they have beards is because they're hiding things. Dwarves hide things. They've always got secrets. They're always concealing things. They are secretive, stunted, ugly creatures. And, you let that out a few times, or if you're playing with a dwarf, again, just like with the lust flaw, find out what people's comfort levels are. If you're constantly belittling someone, they're not going to have a good time. But if you just use the term, you just don't call the character by their name. You just say dwarf, or elf, or human. What is it, human? What is it your human thing doing? If you had another human thought, or hobbit, call them by their species destination. It's brusque, and they'll get across the idea that your character doesn't like their character or that type. And if you meet a band of things which are of that race, then maybe you don't talk to them. You just growl, say, well, let's get them. Let's murder these dwarves. But you don't disrupt it. You let the other players do the talking. You let them move the story forwards. You haven't ground things to a halt. You haven't totally derailed whatever mad plan the GM may have had. You can get across dislike in subtle ways. You call them by just their type, or you give them an occasional insult. But again, if it's another PC, find out what they're comfy with. You don't want to creep them out. You don't want to make the game miserable for them. Other flaws. What other flaws can you have? You might always have a tell when you lie. Just do that every time you lie. Just have a tick, or raise your eyebrows, or shake your head. Every time your character tells a lie, just do that. And just make it obvious. Very obvious, Oh, of course, we'll help you. And everyone will learn, and you're not totally disrupting the game, but it's out there. Other flaws. Addictions. Character could be an alcoholic. How do you portray an alcoholic in a game? You don't want to play someone who gets blind drunk or obnoxiously drunk or violently drunk, because that might derail things. But you can always have them drinking. They've always got a hip flask. They've always got a mug in their hand. They've always got a bottle. They're always down a few gold pieces because they've been down to the pub. When you get back to civilization, their first port of call is the tavern, or to get a drink. It's not to report in or get supplies or organize. It's to have a drink. And if you do that every time, if your character's always just occasionally just chugging from a hip flask or whatever, then people will see that your character's a flaw. You are always drinking. And negotiate with the GM occasionally to make that a bit more of a problem. You sneak off for a drink during watch, and maybe come back, and maybe have another party notice that you were away. Arrange things, but don't totally derail the game. So those have been my thoughts on several flaws, and how they can be good flaws, or how they can be bad flaws. Remember, a good flaw is something that makes your character memorable and interesting and adds to the game. A bad flaw is something that makes people uncomfortable, makes other players uncomfortable, or creeped out, or it results in an argument, or it grinds the game to a halt. That's a bad flaw. So, hopefully, when you play, when you choose your character, think of ways to make your flaws good ones. Thank you.